What's that? Was it? This?
Put it off first.
Put it
Before
on?
you start, aye. Right, okay. Dorian. Right, now you could also take the two chords and reverse them. So you go. You could also take these and play them, instead of going forward the arpeggio, come back the arpeggio to make it interesting. Now you could go forward one and back the other. However way you want it to go. And that's taking arpeggios and incorporating a very nice riffy Dorian sound. The other thing you could do with it is and that's how probably somebody like Brian Adams would, you know, would approach an arpeggio. Loads of his songs. So
I've got a song. I've got a Dorian song, do a Dorian song in the band.
one of your own.
It's that big box Dorian thing.
Dorian. Definitely Dorian sound. Now, we could, if we took the same two chords, D and C, and played an E minor along with it, and then the emphasis comes on the E, before you start soloing it.
What's that riff in?
It's just E minor 7.
Isn't that me alone?
That's right. That now we've changed the emphasis.
Right.
But we're still using the same C and D. Right, so we could.
So you change the modes but keep it the same?
I keeping the chords the same, but just changing the sort of primary chord, the first chord. We could make that sound a wee bit more kind of rocky by playing something like let's see. Too many notes.
The whole thing?
You must know a wee bit out of that. On your own. Right, and that would be Aeolian. If we wanted to make it Mixolydian, which is your question, if you want to stick to the same two chords, right, and pedal the D over the C, and then you.
What's it called?
Sorry, that's not true. One, like, D over C.
So what? Is it just a D and a C?
Just a D and a C.
What does that make?
As a D Mixolydian. What's the parent key?
D? Alright, is it Dorian?
This is a D Mixolydian. Right, well, the concept we've worked on,
Alright,
we've used an A pedalled over a C and a D, then we used an E pedalled over a C and a D, and now we're using a D pedalled over a C and a D. So we must be working from within the same key centre, right, because of the C and the D. Right, so what key were in? What key were the first two in?
Oh, excuse me. We've gone from Dorian to Mixolydian.
Right, what we've done is, we started off Dorian, right, okay, which was an A Dorian. What's the parent key for an A Dorian?
G.
Right, okay, then we went to an E Aeolian. What's the parent key?
G.
Right, and then we went for an E Aeolian to a D Mixolydian. What's the parent key?
G.
Right. So what was, I didn't say it to confuse you.
What's my D what? Mixolydian?
D Mixolydian. Mixolydian.
I can see it's...
You were right the first time, they're all.
I know, I'm just seeing how I know that. What was that? D Mixolydian?
The last one's D Mixolydian,
Right,
yeah.
so it's... Right, that's something.
Because D's number 5 in the key of G, that's it. So what I'm trying to say is, each of these three different sounds that we've had here are on the same key. No three different keys, like the majority of people would think. What I'm trying to get over to you is you can write double or 7 times the amount of songs, and you can write your songs and they'll always be interesting if you can understand the modes, because it's like scales within scales. And again, it's not playing the scale up and down as fast as you can, that's the important thing. It's about the note selections that you have along with the particular harmonies that you have. Right, now you made a good choice when I played the Mixolydian and D playing the B minor pentatonic scale. That'll work fine. Just try that again.
What was that? That's fine.
That's Mixolydian. It's Mixolydian, but it's Mixolydian because of the chords. No, not so much because of what you're playing. And it's these two chords that make it. Because if you played a B minor pentatonic scale, it would just sound like a B minor pentatonic. Until you could plant a harmony in somebody's mind. Right? You know, I think we discussed before that a B minor pentatonic could be played over and it's discovered and found in several different keys, not just one key.
It's about finding the notes.
You've got to find the right selections, you know, that's basically all the...
Play the chords again. It's just there's a scale for B minor as well, we put the notes in.
Yes,
It's flattened. That's a fourth, so it's a G. Cut G in at B minor.
I mean, you would just be... Aye, exactly.
Is that C sharp and D?
Well, aye, of course, it's in the
So you
key.
get them.
The C sharp's in the key D, but it's not in the key G, so therefore you can't use it.
Right. But default. Is that used to come?
Well, that's chromaticism, so that'll work because the C sharp was just used as a passing tone. Right, okay, now if we take away the chords and just play that wee widdly thing you were doing. And that could be any minor pentatonic, right? So what people would say if they were listening to that is that's a minor pentatonic scale. If you wanted to smack of Mixolydian, do the other thing that we did earlier on today.
So mix it together.
No, is that's a Mixolydian, next slide. It's like an A minor seven, but it's got a D in it.
So what chord is this? What number is this?
That's a C, where D,
We're in G, so that's
4 and 5 chords at E, C.
it's a fifth chord.
That's right. Now, if I wanted to change these chords around, so keep the same two chords, but put C in the bass,
Right.
right? As would be the next step. It's quite a difficult stretch, but.
First chord?
The first one's a C chord. That's because you wanted to be a D.
So what's I'm keeping the bass?
You keep the C in the bass this time. Right, now we've used these same two chords every time, right? Now, what we're doing now is we're superimposing C over D, over C and D, right? So what's C's relationship to G? Right, so what is the fourth mode then? Right, so that would be you playing a Lydian.
When I'm doing what?
When you're doing C over C and D.
Okay, so
And you play the bass note now. That's Lydian and Mixolydian. That's the right mix. That's the right mix up. No, right Mixolydian.
It's quite common, though.
Right, so you can, well, there, that's ambiguous because you could have, right? That's you just having a C with a C in the bass and a D with a D in the bass.
Or you could just have.
If you want to make it sound like a mode, then you've got to pedal one note over both chords. If you turn yours down.
Right. See when it's pedaling C, what I play then? With a solo?
You would solo. You can solo in G major, shape 4 in G major if you like, which is a Lydian mode. So it's a G major scale. Everything we've done today is in G major. That's my point, right? Although
So the same mode, so different modes, but
so different modes, something different over each of the chords, but the sound is different every time you do it. But it's still the same scale.
so
Now,
a solo in, that's Dorian, that's solo in B minor for Lydian. No, because it's not B major.
it can't be B major.
So that's Ionian, Dorian. So C.
C's your Lydian, right? But it's a C. It's a C major. Sorry. It's a G major starting on C. So it's a shape 4.
See for the other modes, the Dorian mode, when we did it in A, I think we did it in A, we could do that in, what was it? Is that just taken from that second position?
Yes.
So all these, what was the word used, hexaphonic? The word used for a mixed scale? Hexatonic, was it?
Hexatonic was just a six note scale, yeah.
That's each of the 7 shapes. It's a hexatonic scale, right?
No.
No?
Each of the 7 shapes are just, until you apply harmony, right, as a background, each of the 7 shapes are just that, a shape. Once you apply harmony to it, chords to it, and it takes on the flavour of a particular mode. Right? If you use a shape 1, for example, right, over the chords A, C and D, right, that's the A is pedaling, but you're still playing a shape 1. The sound is Dorian because of the chords that I'm playing. You could play any one of the 7 shapes in the key of G major over the top of these chords and it'll sound Dorian.
I mean, if you went up to Lydian, right, the first shape, if it's Lydian's the third one, so it's the third shape.
No, the Lydian's the 4th one.
The fourth shape is your first shape in Lydian.
Yes.
So
Yes.
but that's, is that it without the harmonies? That's your shape without the harmonies.
Right. What you want is to make a Lydian mode, right? And we're talking only in G today, because to step outside of G, we're just getting into another big long drawn out argument, right? So we're staying in G. In order, some people refer to modes as being a series of tones and semitones, just the way they would at a major scale, right? And that's fine, but it's not strictly true. That's certainly not their application. That's a way of learning the mode, right? Now, I would have to say that if we were playing a C Lydian type sound, where I was playing a C chord
C pedal.
with a C pedal and a D chord with a C pedal, right? Then I would have a Lydian sound as far as the chords are concerned. The best sounding of the 7 shapes, as far as you're concerned, would be a shape 4, right? Which is the first shape Lydian. Right? That would be the best sounding. But that doesn't bar you from playing all the other shapes. And that's same for the other thing. The reason, for the shape 4 being that way, that are the most valuable to you. But really, when you take the chords away and you just play that shape 4, it is just a shape 4 in C, in the key of G major.
Right, but how, last week we were playing, you completely stopped and we played the Dorian. And it sounded Dorian.
That's because we planted the harmony. That is,
Right,
see
so
that?
what you're doing is you're taking each shape, right, and you're going up and make each shape and you're putting a harmony in each note.
I don't mean put a harmony as far as harmonise the notes. I mean put
Right,
chords along.
Put a note, plant a few notes inside it then.
Yes, I'm planting notes inside your head. That's the clever thing.
That's why everyone says a Dorian is a flat and, well, whatever, totally flat fifth, whatever. That's not right, but that's why they say a Dorian is a major scale with a whatever.
Basically, what they're actually doing is, some people, for example, an A Dorian, some people compare an A Dorian to an A major. And if they're comparing it to an A major, it's got a flattened third, right? And they're right in saying that, if they want to compare it to an A major. But that's what it is they're doing. They're taking each individual mode and comparing it to the root note, right? For example, if I said a G mixolydian, a G mixolydian is shape 5 in the key G, in the key D. No, it's not. It's this bloody thing, make me nervous, right? Shape, there's a shape 5 in the key of A, right? But it can also be looked at. No, hold on, a wee sign. Right, if the original thing I said was a G mixolydian, right? Is a shape 5 and the key C. How simple, right? But it could also be viewed as a G major scale with flattened 7. Right? If you want to compare it to G major.
But that's not.
I don't like to do it that way because it's far too confusing, right? If we looked at it, you could if we wanted to look at a G Lydian, for example, right? It's got a sharpened 4th. If you compare it to G major, right? You see what I mean? Right? But only when you compare it to G major. It wasn't born out of G major. People didn't discover a G Lydian through playing a G major scale. They discovered a G Lydian through playing a D major scale, because it's number 4 in the key D. It's a very complex matter for a young man like yourself to take in, because it's a very complex matter. For me to take it, it's a complicated matter to discuss. See, you're confused, right? As is
Sit down and think about it.
yes, as is everybody confused when people start to present them with modes.
Are you still confused about it?
No, not when I'm playing. But sometimes when you try to explain it to somebody in simple terms, I get confused about how you would explain it. Right? I've got to sit and think, how can I explain this in a way that he'll understand? Right, that, rather than if I was talking at an intellectual level, I wouldn't need to worry about explaining it to you. I would just say, right, this is a G Lydian, right, and everybody goes and it's G Lydian. But to you, I've got to explain what a G Lydian is, well, because you don't know, and I'm your teacher, and that's my job.
Right, that's the point.
Right, so that's,
Right, so it's, so what's it we're doing now? We're still in Lydian.
we were still, we were in Lydian.
Have we not started putting these notes in?
You put any note you like in. Right, and what you've got to try and do is you've got to then learn how to select the notes that sound right.
A D, you put a F sharp in.
Play, for example, let's do something dead simple, right? Rather than widdly wee up and down the scale, let's play the two arpeggios, right? Of C and D. You need to not do it because you're not hearing the drone and the C and the bass. Better. Right, that's the Lydian mode. Lydian would sound better. Okay, right, we've got it. Right, now, how did we do that?
We
Right,
put a C and a D with a C in the bass.
right, what was the first time? What did I do this? What am I doing this time?
Did you just C with the C and D with a D in the bass?
No, what I did was a C, right? First of all, a C5, and then I superimposed the F sharp note along with the C, which is a sharp 4.
That would make it sort of diminished, no?
Well, you see, it could be viewed as a flat 5, but not on this occasion. It isn't a flat 5 on this occasion, it's a sharp 4.
It's not the one.
Right, because it's not on the one, it's not a sharp 5, a flat 5,
I'm
it's a
just getting
sharp 4.
confused, I read this. Why is it had the Tony Iommi thing in it?
Aye, well, that's because it's a flat 5 when he uses it.
So that's just like that thing I did with the, that's Lydian. Actually,
That's Lydian.
oh, it's D. So, what's it Lydian? So it's Phrygian, oh, Phrygian's the Spanish one. Are these the same chords? Sorry.
Yes. See, I'm using the F sharp, which is a third of the D.
It's a D with no root.
It's a D with no root, basically speaking. It comes out sounding like a D7, right? Because it's got a C in
So what kind of mode is Lydian?
it. I'm doing what kind of one is it?
What's it like? Phrygian's a Spanish one. Ireland are sort of Iron Maiden sort of thing.
Well, I think what's happened is it's just been because Iron Maiden have used these modes, then it has been their kind of mode, or the kind of mode that they use. The same way as because Spanish people use the Phrygian mode, you know, it's been kind of entitled the Spanish mode. But that's just another name put on it. At the end of the day, it's just a mode. If you wanted something, or to listen to something that used sharp fours and Lydian modes, Joe Satriani and Stevie Vai's your man. That's their sort of baby.
So what pentatonic scale can you use?
Well, you could use, let's think now, you could try an E minor pentatonic.
Would that not turn it Dorian then?
No.
Because it's got a C and a D in it.
Well, but if it was Dorian, I would have the A pedaling.
Oh, so it was.
So I've got, right, you could use A minor if you want. Right, you could also use, you could use a B minor pentatonic as well. Right?
Very well.
See, it's just not very well because you're tending to do minor
If you
pentatonic.
put it to the Mixolydian, Mixolydian.
You want me to make it Mixolydian? Any of the pentatonics and the key of G, which there's three, right,
D
with,
minor, D
well,
minor, D minor.
that's it, will work, obviously.
For
But you
both,
need to be selective.
will they work for all the modes and
Aye, in theory, aye, yeah,
all modes
yeah,
of G?
aye, here's, aye. Because I tend to play the guitar in that sort of fashion. You know, rather than, you know, go for a, you know, a big long drawn out mode with loads of notes, I'll select a minor pentatonic that, you know, that works well. See, for example, if you look at a G major 7 chord, right, which, just take that one. Right, now, G major 7 chords, it's very hard to make them sound bluesy. But you can't play a G blues scale over the top of that, just in the sound right. Right? But so what you have to do is you have to find a scale, right, or a minor pentatonic scale that sounds good over a G major 7 chord. Now I know this also, that the minor pentatonic, a third above the root note of that chord will sound good. That should be.
Is that what you used in Don't Let Loose You Now? You can hear you in the background.
That's. I did that on the major chords. That's exactly what happened. Now, if I was, a common chord change would be for G major 7 to C major 7. Right, now what I would do is, I'd be soloing a third above G, right, and when it comes to the C, you get a third above the C. So you would be... What's a third above? What's a third above the C?
E.
Right. But I would, instead of going along here to find E minor pentatonic, I would just find that in there. There's nothing wrong with doing. Stay double the time.